So, where do we begin when it comes to the economy and politics and the war and the way gas prices are rising? And literally, the approval rating for the thug in the White House among MAGA and Republicans is still rising. Like I've said so many times, I remember when Republican, Democrat, there has always been a difference in the approach to leadership and the approach as far as how the country should be run among Republicans and Democrats. But it literally used to really mean something. Now people refuse to even be honest. I had one person, remember I told you guys, like, I try to talk to people that do not agree with me because I you can always learn and you can always hear, and I am always open to accept or to, if I'm wrong or haven't seen everything, I'm always open to hear it. And I had one person who supported this fool that's in the White House, actually voted. And they said, when you get to a certain level, you just don't apologize, even if you make a mistake. And I thought, wow, that says a lot about the way people think in power, which makes sense, um, and about that person. Let me address with the way people think in power. Democratic candidates and politicians tend to be more vulnerable and more honest. And I will say that their honesty and their vulnerability is often misunderstood. I cannot say how many times I've tried to defend or explain to people just because somebody can't give you a black and white and quick answer does not mean they are lying. Literally, what you see right now with this war is complicated. There is no such thing as a quick fix and an easy fix when you're dealing with countries. Even when it came to the Venezuelan president that was assassinated and stuff, every time you remove one leader, there is always another one waiting. I mean, it's just like the movies when you see the mafia, the gang, it's not going to die. And then the bombing of all of these boats, just because you assume or you've identified that these are drug carriers, is still complicated because this is connected to this, to that, and you never know who is on the other side. That's why people and the U.S. spends a lot of time doing intel, and they think about it and they think 3 and 4 and 10 steps ahead, because it would be easy to do a lot of things, but just because it's easy and just because you can does not mean that you should. Then there's some things that are just not even our business to handle. And so when we find ourselves handling and taking care of things in other countries that is not our business, we open ourselves for retaliation, because we cannot you can, you know, be double standard, but don't expect people to respect that just because you're the U.S. That's what happened with 9/11. We had been messing around. We did some things, and George Bush Senior was involved in some stuff, and they came back to let us know you're not untouchable. They exploited the biggest. I mean, they exploited us to the max and showed us, hey, you're not invincible, and we can touch you at any point. We just have not. Likewise, just because this idiot in the White House, excuse me, so many of you all loved how excuse me, how ignorant he would say things, and how he would talk about how he was going to kill people, and how he did the press conference about people, and oh, Abu died like a dog and all of this. Just because he has that and speaks in that much authority, look at the unrest in America where we are right now. And we have so many places that we can be exploited. We have so many things that is not that, so many areas where we are vulnerable, that his approach is reckless and it's leaving us all. And it's not by accident. I told you guys, this man wants us to be at unrest. He wants us to be at his mercy, and he wants us to need him and depend on him to get us out of it. That way he can remain in office and become the dictator he wants to be. So none of this is by accident. And then when you have people who think like that, who say at some point you don't apologize, you set yourself up for people to act like they're always right. And for the MAGA people to just keep supporting and act like you don't see what's going on, it's easy to say, okay, I didn't think, or maybe this was wrong, or I need to correct. I have so much respect for the people who have come forward and thought, man, I did not think it would be like that. The people who cannot say that, that's a scary group, because that means that you don't have accountability. That means that you do not have a heart. That means that you don't even care about humanity. You brag about being conservative, but you really cannot be anything. You cannot have any humanity whatsoever and look at the conditions we're in and say that it's okay. And when I tell you leadership trickles down, literally, we are living in some rough times where people are doing some weird, hateful, and mean things. They're saying anything, they're doing anything without repercussions because they are following bad leadership. So, yeah, it's bad out here. And when we continually to get defeated and we do not show up, Texas, 60% of Texas is minority, and yet we are still being governed by Republicans who do not care anything about minorities, period. We have a sitting governor who operates under the very luxury that DEI provides. Without DEI, without somebody providing a wheelchair access for him, he would not even be able to do anything. And yet he's against DEI. Basically, he's against anything that's not for him, which is the same way that this fool in the White House operates. We have got to get rid of him. Texas has received less government funding. There are things that could help promote and push us forward, but because of his selfishness, his rudeness, his hatefulness, and his disrespect toward minorities, he blocks a lot of it. Although he thrives under the very positions and stuff that he fights, the very policy that he stands against, he is thriving under them. We have got to put a stop to him. If we don't get rid of Abbott now, he's only going to continue to become a tyrant and a monster, along with Dan Patrick, who was out on the front lines and immediately saying that rape is just another way for a woman to have a baby. That is not the leadership you want. That means you got to vote. And you got to vote big. And then you did not support Jasmine Crockett and Tellerico, who says that he has been fighting for us. And a lot of people came back and said, why you want Jasmine? It's a black thing. You're racist. Go look at his record. Because he's been fighting in the local legislature, but look at what we have. Nothing. Which means he did not make an impact while he was in locally. And that means he will get swallowed up on a national level. And people supported him. He was flooded with 2.8 or is it $3.8 million in one night. Where do you think the funding came from? It did not come from Democrats. Come on now, put your heads together. We have got to vote. And 60%, we have got to come out strong. Because if we're going to be Texas win and Texas big and everything bigger and better in Texas, we have got to get rid of some of this Republican leadership that does not have humanity's best interests. It's been your girl, Candid with Kim. It may be tight, but what I'm saying is right.